Are we going to continue the sell off from yesterday? Are we going to come back? With that being said, I'm going to be telling you guys all the news, everything you guys need to know for the stock market, and give you guys everything that you need to know and some plays. But to start, we're going to get to the heat map in a second. But we just got some great news with GM, Ford. The news isn't fully out yet, but we just got some positive news. It was just some insider news. So just saying there's some positive news with a little announcement. So we might get that a little bit more public a little bit later. But with that being said, look at Ford and GM to the upside. And once it comes public, you're going to see these stocks move even more. I don't know if it's going to be public by the time this video uploads, but just wanted to give you guys that because it literally just came out a second ago. With that being said, the overall SPY, let's move to that. We did get a little V-shaped recovery. I will say that the 565 is a key level to look at. We've seen a big bounce off of that. We were falling, a big sell-off, even pre-market. We had a big sell-off and it finally bounced up and looked overall bullish. And right now we're kind of looking a little bit bullish, but it's kind of not. It's kind of like holding this 570.9 level that we seen a couple days ago. If we come out over here, we were kind of like battling it. We bounced off of it here, pre-market, and even a little bit during the day that day. So with that being said, I will look at that 570 level. If we won't bounce above it, we will bounce below it and probably even come back to these lows and or just consolidate around here. So keep that in mind for SPY. I'm going to give you guys some more levels, some more plays. But with that being said, you can watch that 570 level. And then if we fail break and you see consistent bullish momentum down, you guys can play a put option. And or if we bounce above this and it looks pretty healthy up to the upside, you can play some call options. So keep that in mind. For the overall market, we do have Apple up 0.60. Some stocks are moving pretty decently. We do got Tesla up. We do have the auto tariffs that is messing up the market overall. With that being said, we do have U.S. auto tariffs. President Trump announced 25% tariff on imported automobiles and foreign-made auto parts effective April 2nd. So the auto parts, even if vehicles are made in the U.S., the auto parts are still going to have that 25% tariffs. So keep that in mind. I'm going to show you that, the guys, this a little bit later, but the upcharge for cars is going to be even more. So meaning like sales are going to go down, inflation may be up. So just keep that in mind. NVIDIA's declined. So NVIDIA's shares fell sharply due to concerns over new Chinese energy regulations that could potentially impact its chip sales. I think NVIDIA maybe has, I forgot the exact number, but 15 to 30% of China's sales. Gold prices rise. So we do have its year-end gold price forecast at $3,300 an ounce. Right now we're at 3,000. So we are reaching new highs. And that is just the go-to stock, or not stock, but go-to basically asset that people are getting. GDP growth. So the U.S. economy grew by 2.4% in the fourth quarter, aligning with expectations. I think expectations was like 2.3, 2.5. I forgot which one. I know it's one off though. Jobless claims, initial jobless claims rose to 224,000, indicating a modest increase in unemployment fillings. So keep that in mind too. But with that being said, let's get to some news now. So NVIDIA faces new setback in China over chip energy rules. So they came out with this yesterday, and NVIDIA stock is falling a decent amount. But with that being said, I will look at this as a buying opportunity for NVIDIA if we keep on going down, especially if we can get down to that $100 level. I don't know, maybe the lows like 104, I think. But with that being said, OpenAI does not expect to be cash flow positive until 2029. But the next one is we do have expects revenue will triple to 12.7 billion this year. So keep that in mind for OpenAI. So driverless taxis are coming to Washington, D.C. So keep that in mind. And Tesla stock can maybe benefit off of this too. Google, of course. Trump drives trade war fears with the new auto tariff. So that 25% tariff. You've seen Ford down, Kia down, like a lot of other companies. I have a chart later to show you guys what is made overseas that is selling in the US that is going to be affected by these tariffs. But keep in mind that Tesla, 100% of their cars that is sold in the United States is made in the United States. So Tesla might overall be like positive. Like this might be a good catalyst for Tesla. With that being said, Dogecoin prepares to explode. So people are kind of hyping up basically crypto overall, except for XRP. I think XRP, they're saying that's going to drop. Bitcoin price finds support, but can it power through the 90K? So we are currently trading at $87,000 with Bitcoin. If we can get above that 90,000, you can see MSTR and Coinbase and ETF that moves with Bitcoin. IBIT go up. So keep that in mind if you guys want to play some short-term plays and or just buy into Bitcoin. Bus says impact of auto tariffs on Tesla is significant. So like I said before, honestly, like 100% of the cars sold in the US is going to, be good for Tesla, but at the same time, if the CEO is scared, then I mean, you might as well be scared. But with that being said, we do have Tesla up 5%, like we've seen. It's moving up, even though other tech stocks are moving down. Trump says he may give China a reduction in tariffs if they get a TikTok deal done. So keep this one in mind because this might do a little bit of relief because China is one of our biggest traders. So keep that in mind overall. And he kind of said that he's going to be a little bit lenient, but the way he said it, he's going to be kind of lenient. I don't know how to really explain it, but he kind of said that he's going to be lenient, but not too lenient. But with that being said, let's get to some other news. So basically, we did kind of fall down with the 25% Trump tariffs, the Dow Jones, NASDAQ, futures. So keep that in mind. So a lot of other countries too, but Japan is falling a lot. Car maker shares slump on Trump tariffs, and European, just literally everywhere is going down because of this. But GM Ford stocks reel after Trump announces the 25% auto tariffs on foreign made vehicles. So I can try to look for that chart a little bit later, but a lot of companies like GM Ford, Kia, other companies, they're made overseas. So this is going to affect it a lot. AMD gets another downgrade on tough competition with NVIDIA. So you might see NVIDIA down to the downside. So keep that on your mind and on your radar because AMD can be a good short option. So I do recommend looking at this shorting AMD just because of this downgrade. Downgrades can bring the stock down and upgrades can bring the stock up. With that being said, we do have micro algo. I don't know if I said that right, but MLGO up 40%. So most active stocks, I like to update y'all. NEO is also down 5%. But with that being said, I do recommend looking at MLGO. I mean, if it's up 40%, it can either go up some more and or you can see it to the downside. So stock market today. So we snapped the 3-day win streak as Trump preps auto tariffs. So keep that in mind. We were just up a lot. So this is just a little chart to look at if you guys really want to see everything that's going on with consumer confidence, the situation, the expectations, business confidence, more jobs, income increase, automotive purchases and stuff like that. If you guys want this chart, you guys can screenshot it. I just wanted to show you guys a chart. But GameStop gets checked by traders unhappy with the $1.3 billion offering for Bitcoin. I think this is big for GameStop, but with that being said, we are dropping with GameStop right now. Honestly, it might be a good time to buy. Honestly, if this Bitcoin thing is official and once Bitcoin starts rising up, you might see GameStop rise up too. I think somebody hyped it up earlier. They were like GameStop to 1,000. I don't think it can get to 1,000, but as a meme stock, and I mean, the way MSTR moved, I think we can get some big movements with GameStop, but just be very patient with this one. But I think 25 is a decent level to buy at. With that being said, this is something. So car makers among biggest US importers. So you got Volkswagen, at 80%, Kia 65, Mercedes 63, Nissan, Mitsubishi, other companies 53. You got BMW 52, Toyota 51, GM 46. So GM and Ford it did move down a lot, US company wise. But with that being said, this is something I wanted to show you guys, especially with the new tariffs coming out. So these are companies that will be affected. So with that being said, this is kind of like a link, but I just wanted to say that next week we have that 5-minute BYD's EV charger. So basically you can charge your car in 5 minutes. And if it's official, you can see BYD to the upside next week. So keep this in mind because you guys can make a decent amount of money short-term trading and or if you guys want a long-term stock, I think BYD is honestly great. So with that being said, this is another thing. So with gold, basically just getting that 3,300 level, and this is kind of just a forecast that they're kind of showing. So if you guys want this chart or if you guys are interested in gold or the ETFs or anything like that that moves with gold, here goes a chart for y'all. With that being said, gold is gaining a lot with the tariff fears. So honestly, just be very, very careful if you guys are invested, because let's say, like a tariff, you can really take it away with just a signature basically. So if all of the fear goes away with tariffs, gold might drop. So you can play it on the short term too. AMD down after we have a cut to hold rating. So I said this before, but AMD is going down. 46% of 16 million cars sold in the US every year are imported. So almost half of the cars sold in the US are imported. So half of the cars are going to be affected by these tariffs, and you will see like a $5,000 to a $10,000 jump. That being said, Japan warns of a significant impact from the new US tariffs. We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. We do have Berkshire, Berkshire, Berkshire Hathaway. I don't know if I said that right, but they just hit a record high of $801,000, which is insane. Trump tariffs could be a hurricane like headwind for car makers. So, I mean, like I said before, that $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the make, model, and price point with that 25% tariff. So this is going to affect, you as a consumer buying cars, and then companies with their sales getting lower and just having to deal with the tariffs overall. So keep that in mind if you're either invested in companies and or just want to buy a new car. This is going to be affected. I mean, I think having a used car is better anyway. So I mean, this is gonna make the used car market even better, because I'd rather buy a used car than a new car with a $5,000 to $10,000 upcharge. With that being said, this is another chart of vehicle imports as a percentage of sales in the U.S. 2019 versus 2024. I mean, it is kind of a little bit down in Canada. China. I mean, honestly, I think 2024 is okay, but honestly, so Alphabet gets a cut on advertising slowdown. So look at Google and or Alphabet to the downside a little bit. We're going to be looking at that a little bit later though, but look at it to the downside with that news. Traders add to ECB easing bets, see 80% chance of cut in April. So we might get an 80% cut in April. So keep that in mind. We are still projected for 2 cuts, by the way, but we might get 3 if things get worse. Wall Street rises 2025 forecast. So these are just 2025 forecasts for the S&P 500. That's the overall. And basically highs of 7,100 and lows of 5,500, which is crazy. And then probably average maybe 65 to that 6,700. With that being said, let's get to the charts. So like I said before, look at how it reacts to that 570.9 level. If we break above that, we could see higher levels and could kind of have a confirmed. I'll look at that 571.5 to that 572. And if we hold above that, we kind of broke this level and we can go continue upwards. But with that being said, if we don't, look at it to the downside, so we might get some more retest and then we might finally break down. Look at that 569.5 level first. And then if we start breaking down, we might consolidate around this level. With that being said, after that, look at that 568.2, 567.2, 566.7. And then that level that we bounce off of, that 565 level. And then if we get a bounce below that, we're going to make some new lows for the day. And then look at that 563.24 for the SPY. But right now, I'd probably personally play a put option, especially the way it's moving, but you might see it come up. So just look at that 570.9 and then that 569.5 as like a level of like bouncing right now. And then we can either break upwards or downwards basically with those levels if you guys are trying to play it. In the video, we did get that bad news with China, but we did kind of have a sell-off, but then now we kind of make it higher highs. So for NVIDIA, I'll look at that 114.6. And if we can break above that, I'll look at that 115.2 and then that 116 level, 117, 118, and then 120. But for the rest of the day, I think I'll look at that 114.6 level. And if we can break above that, 115. But with that being said, we are kind of making new lower highs. So with that being said, I will see how it reacts to that 113.3 level. And if we break below that, I'll look at that 113, 112.5, and then 112. And then if we continue down, we might even make new lows. So look at that 110. If we bounce below that 110, we're just overall bullish or bearish, bearish. And we'll look at that 105 and then maybe even that 100. Palantir is holding pretty strong. We're pretty bullish at first, but with that being said, to the downside, I'll look at that 91.6 level, 91, and then that 89.6 level, and then below that, I'll look at that 88.5 and then 87. To the upside, if we can like get out of this bearish trend right now that we're kind of creating, I'll look at that 93.5, 94.15, 95.5, and then maybe make some new highs. Not overall highs, but just new highs for the day, basically 97.5, and then maybe test that 100 finally. But I think that 100 level might be tested next week if we get some decent news, but you never know. Tesla's up 5%. So personally, I mean, we are kind of selling off a little bit. With that being said, I'll look how it reacts at 283.7, 282, 281.14 at VWAP, and then that 276, and then that 272.6, and then that 266. But to the upside, I'll look at that 294, 298, and that 300 level. 300 is going to be very, very key for this stock. So keep 300 on your radar because we might either get a bounce off, and or if we bounce above it, we can probably move $5 to $10. That being said, Google, like I said before, or Alphabet, whatever you want to call it, we are moving pretty bearish, especially yesterday and today. So, with that being said, I will be looking at Google to the downside, and I'll look at how it reacts at 164, 162, and that 160 level. But you can probably short the stock and make a decent amount of money, especially for a couple of days if you want to hold it for a long period of time. With that being said, for Bitcoin, I will look at how it reacts to that 88 level, 88,000. And then if we break above that, we might even get 89 and then 90. With that being said, MSTR, I gave you guys some levels yesterday, but I think that 340 level to that 360 level is kind of what we're going to meet up if we keep on going up with Bitcoin, but only if we keep on going up. And to the downside, I will look at that 319 level, sorry, 319, 310, and then that 300 level, and then that 280 after that. You can play this stock both ways, up or down. So keep that in mind because you can make a decent amount of money. Coinbase too, I'm looking at that 190. And if we break below some more, that 185 and that 180. And then to the upside, I'll look at that 195 and then going up to that 200 level once again. And then past that 200, 206.9, the highs that we had yesterday, and then 210. So you can play both of these stocks both ways, make a decent amount of money. But yeah, with that being said, thanks for watching the video. Smash that like button, subscribe if you guys are new. And let me know what you guys are invested in, how much money you guys made, and some plans that you guys have. And have a great weekend, man. Enjoy some time off. Let me know what plans you guys have. But Tesla up almost 22%. That is insane. Peace out, guys.